Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Tomoko Rosas and I'm a practitioner here at this center. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. Okay, so a few announcements before we get started. People have spoken. We have our slogan. Okay, so the winning slogan is Get Your Spiritual Fix in 2026. Yay! And it was submitted by me. Thank you all for your participation. Okay, our annual membership meeting and potluck is today. If you're a voting member, your presence is requested. The potluck is for everyone, so please join us for that. And we have our first Sunday workshop coming right up. Open Your Mind to Receive Prosperity Workshop, and it's based on Catherine Pounder's book by the same name. And that's going to be on Sunday, February 15th, and it's going to be facilitated by Amanda Sokola, and myself, and everyone's welcome. The fee is love donation, so everybody go for that. And Wednesday Spiritual Support Group is ongoing. All are welcome. No fees associated with that as well. And we're working on our spring newsletter. So if you have any stories that you'd like to submit, please send it in. And the details are in the program. Unexpected Income Club is doing great. And we'll be setting our new goal for 2026 today at the annual meeting. And thank you all for your continued participation. And that's it for me, and I'll be back, but Tommy's next.
I need to be still, let God love me. To be still, let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me.
So as we come together on this glorious day, please join me in knowing that God is all there is. God is the infinite intelligence, divine love, one power, one presence, one life. We are each one with God. We live and move and have our being in this one presence, one life. We are inseparable and integral to the oneness of all. And this is simply the truth of who we are. And from this place of oneness, I bless this morning's service, knowing that it is already perfect, wonderful, and complete, full of inspiration and messages of love and peace. As we go forward, I bless Him and express my gratitude for all of our wonderful and dedicated volunteers, beautifully expressing divine love through service. I bless the ushers and the greeters, the loving hands that prepare the coffee fellowship. I bless our amazing musician, my wonderful fellow practitioners, our wise board of trustees. I bless our congregation and the visitors, and bless the children and the loving teachers of our junior church. And a special blessing for our wonderful Reverend Dr. Bill Salisbury this morning for his commitment to being a loving channel for spirit, delivering messages of love and peace that is personal to each one of us every week. With this, I declare the service good and very good. In high gratitude, I simply say thank you, God, and let it be. And so it is. All right. So good morning once again. My name is Tomoko Rosas, and I'm a practitioner here at this beautiful church. For today's inspirational reading, I have chosen a reading from the book called The Art of Living by Dennis Merritt Jones. It's pretty popular this month. And this section is called, Are You Seeking a Spiritual Life, or Is It Seeking You? So this is Dennis Merritt Jones. He's a minister in the church in Florida, I believe. Now he's in Florida. He writes, once in a while, I will have first-time visitors at our center seek me out after the Sunday celebration service just to tell me that they have finally found the spiritual home they have been seeking for so long. They have finally had the spiritual experience they just couldn't get at all the other churches they have visited. And I will absolutely, unquestionably, without a doubt, see them again next week so that they can continue to deepen their spiritual life. Seldom do I see them in the following weeks or any time thereafter. Why? Because the spiritual glow wore off 20 minutes after they left the parking lot. And they are off to some other church, continuing their quest. Human nature is funny, isn't it? Many of those most desperate for a spiritual life continue to look for it outside themselves, believing that it has to come through some sacred entity or that it can simply be scheduled for a Sunday morning between 9 and 10:30 a.m. The truth is, while some religions and ministers would love to have us believe it, the church isn't responsible for, or for that matter, capable of giving anyone a spiritual experience or lifestyle. A church, a minister, and rituals are great reminders of our connectedness to God, but the experience must always be an inside job. As for a lifestyle, what about the other 6.5 days of the week? This is where mindfulness comes in. The fact is that life is a spiritual experience. We simply need to awaken to it. In the Zen tradition, there is a statement that speaks to this beautifully. Before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. There is as much of God's presence in us and around us when we are mowing the lawn, taking a shower, taking out the trash, signing a business deal, or changing the baby's diaper, as there is in the most sacred temple, ashram, mosque, or church on the planet. We don't have to change into any special clothes or even say any special words. It's as simple as remembering to remember that every action we take is sacred. Every relationship we enter into the course of the day is sacred. Every breath is sacred. Every holy instant is sacred. Your life is a sacred thing. Why? Because God is all that is. This simple remembrance will change how we see our world and how we interact with it. Remembering to remember that God is all that is will transform everything you say, think, and do into a sacred act. All of a sudden, the awareness is that you are not just having a spiritual experience. A spiritual experience is actually having you. That is a profound thought, isn't it? Think about this. You don't have to seek a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual experience. You don't have to seek a spiritual experience because it is seeking you. That is simply God seeking expression in, through, and as you. Now all you need to do is be aware of it. Please join me in prayer. Now let us take a deep breath together and follow it within. Rest at the seat of your heart for a moment and become aware of the melding of your breath with the beating of your heart. Become conscious of the life force that animates your being. God is this life force. It is within us, surrounds us, and expresses through us as beauty, peace, compassion, loving kindness, and so much more. We are one and inseparable from God, as our breath is inseparable from our bodies. This is simply the truth of our being. And from this place of truth, I speak my word for all of us here and all the people who's listening online. Today we bless everyone and everything and recognize that all we see and feel is a sacred and spiritual experience. God is having an experience through us, as each one of us expressing as unique as we all are. There is only one God, one love, one life. In this very moment, we are having a sacred experience, and amongst kindred spirit in this loving community, in a beautiful space that was created just for this purpose, where loving ministers, practitioners, and fellow seekers are here to support and rejoice in your life journey and success. How wonderful this is, how blessed we are. Today we bless this day and this new year, knowing that we remember more fully who we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. And this is the truth of our being. In deepest of gratitude, I say thank you, Father, Mother God. I release my word into the law and let it be. And so it is.
There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. There is one life. There is one giver. There is a love eternal. God lives through me. God lives through me. I am love. I am one power. I am one life eternal. God lives through me. God lives through me. God lives through me.
Wow. That's God living through Tommy Cosentino right there. What a great way to start the morning. And good morning. So we're wrapping up January. our overarching theme being taking control and keeping control, because we want to make sure that we're always in control, because when we're not, well, things could go better for us sometimes. I just love that part of the reading from Tomoko, from Dennis Merritt Jones, about that spiritual glow wearing off. And you know, we've all been there, we've all felt that. You've been in a situation where you're saying, wow, this is terrific. I just want to hold on to this forever. I want it to be part of me. And then, a little while later, you're kind of poking around in your recesses of your mind, wondering what happened to it, and where did it go, and how did it go. And really what we should be asking ourselves in a situation like that is, what's that vibration? Because what we're really talking about is the vibration of the universe. Everything has vibration. Everything has a frequency. Everything is moving all the time. So I know it's difficult to get our heads around the fact that there's movement within that chair, that these walls have movement going on inside of them. They have frequency going on, because it's at such a low level that we can't see that low. We can't see things moving that slowly. So consequently for us, they're not moving. However, I know what happens to all those people who we meet here too, don't we? We meet, oh man, I just love this place. I love you guys. This is such a great little group. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. And sure, we never see them again, because if they ask themselves at that moment, what's that vibration? What's that frequency that I'm at? What is that I'm feeling? It is an elevated sense of spiritual awareness, because they're vibrating at such a high frequency that in the high frequencies, that's where we experience things like love, joy, community, peace. All those things that we love to experience, they are upper level vibrations that we're dealing at. You know, Albert Einstein said, whatever it is that you want to achieve, that you want to have, that you want to be or do, just match that vibration and you are automatically there. It can't be any other way. And he was quick to say also, this is not philosophy. This is physics, okay? This is just the way it is. And then 20 minutes later, as they're driving down the road, I don't know, maybe somebody cuts them off a little short in front of them. Maybe their gas light just came on. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen to us that take us from that high level of vibration down to a way lower level. And of course, at the lower levels, what we're going to experience is things like anxiety and angst and negativity, pain, and even emotions. Emotions are frequencies. Emotions have vibrations. And those happy emotions that we have that lift us up, they're a higher frequency. So the question we have to ask again when we're not feeling that great is the same question. What's that vibration that I'm experiencing? Am I feeling great? If I'm feeling great, I know that vibration I'm experiencing is a high level, high altitude, closer to God, if you will, vibration, than when I'm feeling that lower vibration that brings things of a negative nature, makes me filled with emotion that's really not what I want to be experiencing. You know, when I was a kid, when I was like in the 8th grade and through high school, we lived in this old place, and right behind it was an empty field. And about 100 yards north, that field was bordered by a set of railroad tracks. Now, before we could see it, before we could hear it, whenever a train came by, oh, and they came by multiple times a day, whenever a train came by, we knew it was coming way before it got there because the building just had that a little, it's not like shaking like an earthquake's gonna knock it over, but there was a vibration that you could feel in it, and things on the wall, would kind of move around a little bit. These tracks also, the way the city was laid out was they ran right by the high school. So we're kids, that's the way we walked to school. Instead of going left, right, and zigzagging and taking so much more energy that we could use, for something fun rather than walking to school, we just walked along the tracks. We went right by the high school and it was a shortcut. And it was the same thing. We knew way in advance when we were going to have to get off those tracks and let a train go by because you can feel that vibration. We feel vibrations also, and not that physical vibration. The way we experience and know that we're feeling it is by our attitude about life, about our acceptance of our place in this universe and how we're doing, and relationally how we're fitting in with life itself and with everything else. And part of that reading from Tomoko also was about the sacredness of this moment, this occurrence, this thing that we're doing, and everything is sacred. If we're not matching the vibration of that sacredness, we're not going to experience it. If we're not in that upper frequency, because that's where sacred is about as high a frequency as we're going to get to. If we're not matching that, it's going to go right by us. Somebody's going to get to enjoy it. Somebody's going to get to experience sacred. But if our vibration is down here, maybe that somebody isn't going to be us. Whose loss is that? You ever go into a place, of course we all have, you go into a place and you feel something. You feel the energy in the room, right? I mean, we have places that we call vortexes of spirituality, because you walk into them and you're just immersed in it. There's no denying it. There's no getting around it. There's not even, you probably couldn't even go in with a lousy attitude and change it. You go in with a lousy attitude, it's going to change you because it's so strong. It's such a sensation. It's such a vibration. It requires your vibration to rise to meet it. That's not so bad. However, there are places that are not known as vortexes of spirituality also, and we can go into them, and it could go either way. We've all walked into a room where the air is just heavy, right? You walk in and the first thing you want to say is, God, who died? This is, what a horrible feeling. What's going on in this room? And the chances are pretty good, when it's that strong, it's going to pull you down unless you're really aware and you're really focused on keeping your frequency higher, keeping your vibration up. Because when we're in negative situations, it's easy to get swept into that if we lose our focus, if we lose track of who we are and what we're doing. If we lose track of the fact that this is sacred, whatever this is, it's a sacred time, it's a sacred place, it's a sacred circumstance. What we're doing is sacred. But we can be pulled out of that. We listen to recordings all the time. Remember records?
They're in style.
Yeah.
They never went out.
How did those sounds get on there? How do they come back to us when we play them? It's because their frequency has been absorbed into whatever that vessel is that's holding it for us and replaying it later when we tune into that same frequency one way or another. And generally that way it's just turning the switch on. So usually we have radio frequencies. They're going all the time. If we want to listen to classical music, we know where to tune that thing and get locked in on that frequency. If we want to listen to rock and roll, well, we got another level of frequency we can go to. And it doesn't matter what that kind of music is. Country music, pop music, hip hop, rap. Doesn't matter. It's all on its own frequency. And everything in this world is on its own frequency. There's nothing that doesn't have vibration. There's nothing that doesn't have internal movement. And internal movement is exactly that. It's vibration. It's frequency. So, we can tune in to any frequency that we choose. It's just that if we're not thinking about it, we may just by default tune into something that we're really not that happy with. And that's because, I was talking about the music being put into the records. That's the same thing as the race consciousness of the planet. Every thought that's ever been thought has been thought through and by way of a frequency, a vibration, and if there was such a thing, as Ernest Holmes said, as like a hall of civilization, a hallway, say, of life from the beginning of time, we could literally walk through it, and with each step we could hear a different thought that had been thought somewhere in the past. Because that frequency is there. Once it's out there, it's just out there. And when we're not tuned into it, we don't hear it. But funny thing about feelings, if we have really happy, positive feelings, doesn't everything look better? Everything looks better. And if something happens, like water off a duck's back, it's just gone because we're up in that high frequency area. Nothing can bother us. Nothing can hurt us. But on the other hand, once we finally do let our guard down a little bit, and we accept some not so positive thoughts, and we let them work on us and work through us, then what happens? Everything gets colored with that negativity from that frequency that we're at. When we allow ourselves to get into that lower vibration, something great could happen to us. We might not even recognize it. Because we haven't been aware of what that vibration is that we're dealing with. From the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes actually talks a little bit about telepathy. Everybody, are you aware of that? Ernest Holmes talked about everything at some point or other, but it's telepathy. And it was the same thing. We can actually sometimes know what somebody else is thinking. You heard this thing about twins, right? It doesn't matter the distance between them. They can communicate with each other and know what each other is thinking. And that's partly due to telepathy. And that's because they have matched their frequency with the other. And they don't even have to probably think about it. It just comes as part of nature for them. For us, it's a little bit different. If we want to read each other's minds, we're going to need to concentrate on that. We're going to have to poke around a little bit and find that mutual frequency that we can be there. And we've done it. I mean, sometimes, haven't you just met somebody and immediately you were on the, how we used to say, we got the same vibe going, dude. Yeah, we're on that same vibe, which just means that we're both tuned into the same frequency, and you know it immediately, and you feel like this person has been part of your life, part of you forever. On the other hand, sometimes we meet people and, you know, like the little hairs on the back of our neck bristle and stand up, and we say, ooh, we're not on the same vibe here. We're not vibrating at the same level. And generally, we don't say that if we're in front of somebody who's vibrating on a very high level. If we're in front of Louise Hay, for example, and somebody who's positive and always spiritually aware of where they're going and what they're doing, we're not going to say that. It's only when we hit those lower vibrations. And because that is how we're affected, that's a really good way to make sure that if we find ourselves in a situation where we're surrounded by people like that, what's the cure? What do we do? Get out of Dodge. You know, get out of Dodge. If we want to have good mental health, we need to maintain a higher frequency or a high frequency more often than not. We all know people who live in the lower frequencies, not fun to be around. And we all know people who live in that higher frequency. And don't we want to be with them all the time? They've got something going, they've got a community thing going. Are we gonna show up, or are we gonna think up an excuse not to go? No, we're gonna be there with bells on. On the other hand, people on a lower frequency, it's, well, yeah, no, I got to do my laundry that night. No, you know, I got to vacuum the garage. Doesn't matter what, I mean, we know the difference, and when we're invited to something by a person of a high vibration, we're going to show up, and we're going to go to lots of trouble if we need to in order to show up there. And it's this same level of frequency. You know, one of the salient points of science of mind, of religious science, is we do spiritual mind treatments. We know that our thoughts affect our lives. And we know that when we tune into that absolute consciousness and we unify with it and we open ourselves up completely to that infinite field of possibilities, when we are talking directly to that consciousness, to that absolute mind, that one power, and we're in that one presence, what we call healing takes place. And we know it's not healing. We know that what we've done, whenever a positive result comes from that sort of a treatment, what we've done is we've just revealed the truth about somebody or something or some situation. And how can that be? We get the ministry of prayer every week. Now, the people that we're praying for in our affirmative prayer are not right there in front of us. It's not like right here where we sit right in front of each other and we, yes, directly, and we're doing a prayer for somebody. They're where they are, we're where we are, and it wouldn't make any difference if somebody called from New York or Chicago or Paris or Afghanistan and said, hey, I need a prayer treatment. We can do a prayer treatment for that person, and it will be effective. And the only way in the world that this can happen is because we have allowed that spiritual law to tune into the frequency of that person that we're talking about, regardless of where we are. When we mention their name, we have matched the frequency that they are at with that of the spiritual law, and that healing takes place. That revelation of the truth of who they are takes place, because in that consciousness, in that divine mind, what is known anywhere is known everywhere simultaneously at the exact same time. And because that's the case, it's not about distance in geographic terms. It's about distance from this vibration to this vibration, or any in between. And once we align those vibrations, there's no possible outcome except that they are on the same frequency and they affect each other. So that spiritual law has the effect on that person that we're doing that treatment for, and that person is able to receive it because they are on that same frequency. This is like a no-brainer. This is like going to visit your friend and knocking on the correct door. If we go to visit our friend and we don't remember which door is his or hers, we can go knocking on lots of doors and we may never hit that frequency. We may never run into them. But when we're talking about spiritual law and we get to matching the vibration of that divine consciousness with that person, there's no way around it. We're going to be successful, and that healing is going to take place. It's kind of like, you know, this philosophy, New Thought, we love to talk about the law of attraction, right? That's exactly what we're talking about here. It is the law of attraction. When we are in that same frequency, when we got that same vibe going, we are attracting everything else that's on that same frequency, that's at that same level. So if we want to attract more and better and more positive and love and community and happiness, we simply have to get to that frequency where it is. So if that frequency that we're at is complaining and not happy and, oh, I hate this, I hate that, we're never going to get there, because that's not where we're at. We've had Mark Romero here. Everybody remember Mark Romero? Plays that guitar. Yeah. He's playing those notes at a frequency that matches the frequency in the consciousness in which we're all immersed of positivity. Ooh, does that mean we could play some notes that were like the opposite of that? I'll have to check with Tommy after the service. I mean, because if there was such a thing as playing notes that would bring us the opposite reaction of that, I'd want to know what they are and stay away from them if I could. So how do we raise our vibration? When we ask ourselves, what's that vibration? Am I happy? Am I filled with love? Am I surrounded with joy and beauty? And we cannot answer yes. The only reason we can't answer yes is we're on the wrong frequency. What's that vibration? That vibration is negative, it's low, it's very low, it's not bringing me that which I deserve as a manifestation of this divine experience. There's lots of ways, well, maybe not lots of ways, but there are various ways that we can, after a little introspection, we have to take, what do we say, do an inventory, a self-inventory of where our mind is, where our heart is, what sort of information we're feeding into our soul base during this human experience. But if we discover that we're not where we want to be, there are ways to transcend where we are and get to where we want to be. And you get tired of listening to me talk about things like meditation, quieting the mind, going within and talking to that divine experience within us that is exactly that spark of God that we talk about all the time. So we've got that. We've got mindfulness. You know, like another thing that Tomoko's reading included was chop wood, carry water. It's the same thing. Mindfulness. We have to be paying attention to what we're doing. Because if we're not paying attention, and we're not focused on the good, chances are pretty good that some of that is going to miss us. No, it's not going to miss us. It hits us all the time. It's bouncing off us all the time. We miss it. We are not aware of it, and we don't allow it in. But so we've got meditation, we've got mindfulness, here's a new one, gratitude. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but you know, it's okay for us to talk about things like this, even if it's not the right month. Remember the Christ consciousness, that Christmas consciousness that we're still carrying forward, even though it's, oh my God, the end of January already. We're still in that, because gratitude and that Christmas consciousness are things that elevate us, that take us from a low, mundane, not very desirable level of living, and lift us into that higher vibration, tunes us into that frequency where all of our good is waiting. Good isn't delivered by like UPS. You know, it's not like we order it and a couple of days, well, unless it's Amazon the next day. But we don't order it and then have it delivered. It is always here. It is always available. It is always ours. And if we are not experiencing it, it's because we're not on the right vibration. We're not on the right frequency. So, if there's something that you feel, like a longing, right? I mean, it doesn't have to smack you in the head. It doesn't have to be something as obvious as that 2x4 upside the mule's head. It doesn't have to be as obvious as crashing your car or breaking your arm. Sometimes we just get that kind of little general feeling of malaise, and anytime anything like that comes over us, or anytime anything south of ecstasy is what we're experiencing, we have to ask ourselves, what frequency am I on? What's that vibration? Because if it's not ecstatic, if it's not great, if it's not everything I could wish for, I'm at too low a frequency. And nobody can change that for me. I have to change that myself. I have to turn that dial. I have to say, Bill, get out of here. Is this the best there is? If there's better, I should have it. And right now I'm off and running. I'm going to raise my vibration so I'm on that same level so I can experience it. And when that happens, what else happens? We get more synchronicities in our life. Anytime we feel a synchronicity, we know that we're on an elevated spiritual frequency. Because otherwise we would never feel it. It would go by unnoticed. We have to be available for the good in our lives. And the way we get to be available is by matching the frequency of joy and beauty and community and happiness and love and spiritual awareness. That's how we become open to receive all the good that is ours to have. So let's just know this together. Let's just know that in this life, every day, all day, every breath I take, if I am mindful of what's going on, if I am grateful for all that I have, if I am seeing abundance and prosperity rather than lack and not enoughness, if I am experiencing that high, that spiritual high that comes with knowing that, having that glow that Dennis Merritt Jones talked about, then I am at that frequency where I've made myself available to that spiritual awareness. I'm living in that zone. And when I'm living there more than not, it's easier then to increase that level, that vibrational level, and it's easier then to be available to receive more of that good that is surrounding me and just knocking on my door saying, let me in, let me in. I'm right here, just turn that knob, open the door, let me into you. Because I'm God, wanting to experience myself through you. And when I'm in that state, when I'm in that place, and all those vibrations are always available to me because they never go away. This vibration is energy. Energy never disappears, it only transforms. And I can transform it from something that's lower into something that's higher simply by focusing my spiritual awareness on that and putting myself in a position to receive that which is mine by divine birthright. And it's with grateful heart that I just acknowledge this is the case and I let it be. I let it go into that spiritual law, knowing that it is already so. And so it is. But this is our opportunity to share our abundance, to share our good, to raise ourselves to that frequency we must be on in order to sustain this service and this center. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your continued support for this center. And for those not in the sanctuary but supporting from afar, thank you also. And let's just know that we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they're given from the central core of who we are, which is God made manifest on this plane. We send them forth to do their great work in our community and in the community at large, with no strings and no conditions, and so it is.
So I came to the fork in the river, and I didn't know which way I should go. I have no map, no compass, no driver, precious little information to show. It can be hard in this life to make decisions. It's an altogether common thing to fail. But as I survey my current situation, I decided to just go ahead and sail. There is no one way, no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. Just wake up each day, do the best I can. When I hear the music, dance. I confess I get confused quite often. Sometimes they not always get it right. I think that life's about just facing fears and triumph. So I just point my little boat towards the light. There is no one way, no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. Just wake up each day, do the best I can. When I hear the music dance. So whatever it is you're facing, just remember this. It's control that you're craving, let it be. Take a long deep breath and surrender it. You'll be alright, you will see. There is no one way, no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. Just wake up each day, do do the best you can when you hear the music dance. There is no one way, no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. I just wake up each day, do the best I can, and I hear the music dance. There is no one way, no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. Just wake up each day, do the best you can when you hear the music dance. When you hear the music dance. And when you hear the music dance.
Thank you. Howdy, ma'am. That's Tommy Cosentino. You know what I love about this is when Tommy hears the music, we get to hear it too. How great is that? And let's just know something together, right here, right now. Something incredible is happening through me right now.
Something incredible is happening through me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called love.
Joy, beauty, and community.
Joy, beauty, and community.
It's all mine.
It's all mine.
Because I'm on the right frequency.
Because I'm on the right frequency.
What a great vibe I'm feeling.
What a great vibe I'm feeling.
Thank you, God, in me.